If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy in Southwest Florida, here's my hot take right out of the gate. The market is not giving out participation trophies anymore. The market is paying for reality. And the biggest place you can see that right now is condos. Condos are moving again, but it's not because people suddenly got emotional. It's because sellers are finally starting to price like buyers have options, and buyers do have options. So today, I'm going to keep this tight and practical. Lee County, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Estero. Single family versus condos, because they're acting like two different markets. And then I'm going to show you 3 condo deals from this week's newsletter that are honestly hiding in plain sight if you're the kind of buyer who actually looks at the numbers instead of just scrolling photos. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy in Southwest Florida, here's my hot take right out of the gate. The market is not giving out participation trophies anymore. The market is paying for reality. And the biggest place you can see that right now is condos. Condos are moving again, but it's not because people suddenly got emotional. It's because sellers are finally starting to price like buyers have options, and buyers do have options. So today, I'm going to keep this tight and practical. Lee County, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Estero. Single family versus condos, because they're acting like two different markets. And then I'm going to show you 3 condo deals from this week's newsletter that are honestly hiding in plain sight if you're the kind of buyer who actually looks at the numbers instead of just scrolling photos. Let's start with the big picture in Lee County because it sets the tone for everything else. On the single family side, active inventory ended December at 7,880 homes. That's down 4.6% from November and down 6.6% from last year. So inventory is not exploding. That matters. Closed sales for single family were 1,121 in December. That's up 11.5% month over month and up 10.6% year over year. That's the part that messes with the narrative because a lot of people still talk like nothing is selling. It is selling. What's not selling is overpriced stuff, weird stuff, and neglected stuff. Median sale price for Lee County single family finished December at $380,000. That's up 1.3% from November, but still down 4.9% from last year. So if you want a one-sentence summary of Lee County single family, it's this. The market is clearing, but buyers are still price sensitive. Flip to condos in Lee County, and this is where the conversation gets more interesting. Condo inventory ended December at 3,968 units. That's down 2.2% from November and basically flat year over year, down 1.3%. Closed condo sales were 389, which is up 37% month over month and up 18.6% year over year. That's a real jump in activity. But here's the important part. The median condo sale price in Lee County is $285,000. It's up 5.1% from November, but it's still. That's the story right there. More closings, lower pricing compared to last year. Translation, buyers are stepping in, but they're not paying 2022 prices just because someone feels like they should. Now let's bring it into Cape Coral because Cape Coral is the easiest place to explain the two markets idea. Cape Coral's single-family inventory ended December at 2,478. That's down 6% from November and down 22.5% from last year. That's a big year-over-year drop. Closed sales were 376, up 6.2% month over month and up 5.6% year over year. Median sale price in Cape Coral single family ended December at $377,950. That's down 1.8% from November and down 1.4% from last year. So Cape Coral single family is stable. It's not flashy, but it's stable. And honestly, stability is underrated when you're trying to make a smart decision. So here's my blunt take for Cape Coral single family. If you're priced right and you're not a project, you'll get activity. If you're priced like it's still peak market, you're going to sit there and quietly become stale inventory. The market is not emotional right now. It's mathematic. Now, Cape Coral condos are where the buyer leverage is obvious. Condo inventory ended December at 375 units. That's down 5.5% from November and down 13% year over year. Closed condo sales were 43, up 38.7% month over month, and up 30.3% year over year. So activity is up, but the median condo sale price in Cape Coral is $223,000. And this is the punchline. That's down 9% from November and down. Condos are moving, but pricing is clearly softer. That's why I keep saying the deals are real if you're careful. It's not just cheap, it's discounting. And those are two different things. Now, since we're talking about condos and leverage, I want to give you a real example from this week's newsletter so this doesn't stay theoretical. Cape Coral best deal pick this week is Harbor Walk, 5214 Chiquita Boulevard South, Unit 202B. It's in Cape Coral. The listing is courtesy of John R. Wood Properties. It's listed at $213,000. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, just over 1,000 square feet, built in 2003. The list price per square foot is about $209.65, and the condo fee is about $424 a month. Now, here's why it made the list. When you compare it to the closed condo market segment from 1990 built and newer, the median sold price per square foot was $223.80. This listing is about $14 a foot under that, so roughly 6.3% under. Then you compare it to the active competition, and the median active list price per square foot was $244.73. This listing is about $35 a foot under that, roughly 14.3% under. So here's the opinion part, and I'll keep it simple. If you're shopping in Southwest Cape, a gap like that is rare. You're buying into a condo pocket near Cape Harbor where people usually pay for the lifestyle. Marina atmosphere, walkability, dining, weekends. Most cheap condos are cheap for a reason, but this one is priced below both the recent sold benchmark and the current competition on a per square foot basis without being some tiny ancient unit. In plain English, it's the kind of value that gets scooped up by someone who actually ran the numbers. Now let's talk Estero, because Estero is always the premium conversation. Estero's single-family inventory ended December at 372 homes. That's down 1.8% from November, but it's actually up 3% year over year. Closed sales were 62, that's up 6.9% month over month, but down 4.6% from last year. Median single-family sale price ended December at $640,000. That's up 4.5% from November, but down 5.1% from last year. So what does that mean in real life? Estero is selective. Good homes still sell. Overpriced homes get ignored. Premium buyers are disciplined buyers. They have money, but they're not careless. Now here's where Estero gets interesting. Estero condos. Condo inventory ended December at 354 units. That's down 5.3% from November, but it's up 13.1% year over year. Closed condo sales were 64. That's up 137% month over month and up 82.9% year over year. That's the loudest stat in today's whole conversation. Median condo sale price ended December at $412,500. It's up 13% from November and basically flat year over year, down 0.6%. So the takeaway is pretty clear. Activity surged, pricing held relatively steady year over year. And that looks like buyers deciding, okay, the value's back in the conversation. Now, the Estero deal pick from the newsletter is in Copper Oaks. That's 10190 10 Maple Drive, unit number 131. The listing is courtesy of Epic Realty, and that is in Estero. It's listed at $305,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,700 square foot, built in 2007. That's about $173 per square foot, and the HOA is about $1,000 per quarter. The key specs that matter, it's a gated community, it's an attached 1-car garage, 2-story, townhome, concrete block construction, tile roof, and it does have a lake view. And the MLS notes mention there's a tenant in place, and it's marketed as investor or owner-occupant friendly. Now here's the gap that kind of made it the best deal. In that 1990 and newer condo segment, Median sold price per square foot was $235. This listing is about $62 a foot under that, so it's roughly 26.5% under. The median active list price per square foot was $283.85. This listing is about $110 a foot under that, so it's roughly 39% under. That's huge. My opinion on Copper Oaks is simple. In Estero, a pricing gap like that usually comes with a catch, and based on the specs, it doesn't read like a catch. You're getting a true 3-bedroom townhouse with a garage in a gated community, and it's priced dramatically below both the recent sold benchmark and what current competition is asking on a per square foot basis. And location matters here. This pocket stays popular because your minutes to FGCU, Gulf Coast Town Center, Coconut Point, and RSW. That's exactly why rental demand stays strong here. When something sits this far under the market, it usually gets noticed quickly because it feels like you're buying wholesale while most listings are still priced like it's still the peak market. Now I want to zoom out for a second and give you the buyer and seller game plan, because this is where most people make mistakes. If you're a buyer right now, the move is not wait for rates or wait for the headlines to turn positive. The move is to hunt for leverage. In condos, leverage shows up when the numbers tell you the listing is under both recent sold benchmarks and current competition. And the property is not a disaster. In single family, leverage shows up when you find good homes that are not trendy, not flashy, but they're priced realistically. The market is rewarding normal. The market is punishing fantasy. If you're shopping condos, here's the other blunt truth. Cheap does not always mean a deal. Cheap can mean delayed cost. So your checklist matters. You want to understand reserves. You want to understand insurance. You want to understand the last few years of assessments and what might be coming. You want to understand rental rules. You want to understand what the fee actually covers, because a cheap condo with shaky finances is not cheap. It's a future bill disguised as a low list price. If you're a seller, here's the version I say to people privately, but I'll say it publicly too. The market will pay you. It just won't pay you for your memories. It pays for condition. It pays for location. It pays for upgrades that buyers actually care about. And it pays for a price that makes sense against active competition. If you are priced right, you can still sell. If you're priced like it's 2 or 3 years ago, you're going to become stale inventory, and stale inventory always sells for less later than it would have sold for today. Now, quick note on rates, because people always ask. We've been hovering around the low 6s lately on 30-year fixed, roughly around 6.2%. They have fallen a little bit over the last few days, even past that. But rates don't have to be low for the market to move. They just have to stop being unpredictable. When rates feel steady, buyers can do math. When buyers can do math, deals happen. That's why you can see more closings even while people are still complaining online. The online conversation and the actual market tape are not always the same thing. So here's the clean takeaway for this week. Lee County is clearing. Cape Coral single family is steady. Fort Myers is improving quietly. Estero remains premium and selective. And condos across the board are giving buyers more leverage, but only if you are disciplined and you do your homework. If you want my weekly newsletter, I send it out consistently, and I always include things like these deal breakdowns and what I'm seeing week to week in the 3 markets that I cover primarily, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, and Estero, but also the surrounding pockets. So just reach out to me directly. I'll make sure you're on it. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2026, send me the city, send me your price range, whether you're looking at single family or condos, and I'll tell you what segment is actually moving right now and what's sitting. Okay, that does it. That's the market update. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.